Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Growth Club Summit, presented by the firm and proudly backed by Intuit QuickBooks. Over the next couple of days, you'll hear from 30 plus speakers across 27 sessions tackling the big issues in firm growth right now. That is AI, advisory, pricing, workflow design, leadership, and how to build a smarter, more sustainable accounting business. Before we get into today's opening session, there's a couple of quick housekeeping notes from me, and we'll get stuck into that in just a moment. My name is Trent McLaren, and I am the co-founder here at the firm. You might want to turn your volume up if you haven't done so already. Today's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited for you to kick into our first session. It's really important for you to note that all of our sessions are being recorded. So if you can't attend everything live, that's okay, don't worry. You'll get access to all the replays as soon as they are available. Our session and recording partner is Vinyl. Everything is being recorded and transcribed using Vinyl, and you're going to get access to all of those things afterwards. If you want to check out Vinyl, our recording partner, it is usevinyl.com. All of our sessions are also CPD point claimable. So you'll have points available for all the sessions that you attend, either live or recorded, and that is powered by our partners at AccrediWise. We're very thankful to have the team on board and also helpful for you to get your CPD points. Now, some of our sessions are hosted right here in the Summit page. You'll see you're in the Summit page right now. Live chat that's playing, you can jump in and chat on there. I'll be on there chatting back with you as well. And then some of our sessions are hosted in Zoom, which is going to have Q&As and polls and all kinds of things in there too. It's very simple. You just check your inbox, find your unique session links, or you can jump back on the Summit page that you're on right now in order to find the session, register, jump straight in. And if you're having any issues, you can always just email our team and we'll be online to help you get in on the Summit. If you're joining live right now, feel free to use the chat and the Q&A function. Let us know it's all working okay. You can ask questions, share your takeaways. And the third thing here on the list is your chance to win $500 in gift cards. So if you'd like to win something, it's very simple. It's very easy. Just capture your favorite moment. You can tag the firm on LinkedIn using the hashtag Growth Club. And we're going to pick a few winners over the course of today and tomorrow. And you'll win some cash all by just sharing on social media. Super simple, super easy. You can just capture this and say, hey, I'm hanging out with Trent on the Growth Club, and just tell everyone what you're happy about and what you're excited for. With the housekeeping out of the way, I want to thank our incredible partners. So huge thank you to all of our partners on the Growth Club, namely our platinum partners, which is Intuit QuickBooks. We couldn't run this without their support and their help. But you can see the rest of our partners. I encourage you to go and check them out, and you're going to hear about them and from them over the next couple of days. Alrighty, so for those that don't know what the firm is a media platform, the community built for accountants and bookkeepers focused on sharing real world stories, tools, and ideas that help firms grow. No fluff, no buzzwords, just practical advice from people doing the work. So if you're already enjoying, hopefully, all the things that the firm is putting out into the world and the Growth Club, stick around. We've got so many good things coming for you. Sessions, tools, community events, all kinds of stuff. And if you'd like to get involved, super simple. Joining the mailing list, you can reply to any of those emails and say, hey, Trent, I've got a story to share and I'd love to contribute that into the network. Now, we're going to kick off with our opening keynote. It is someone who has shaped this industry for over a decade. He was the original co-founder of Receipt Bank, now known as Dext. And if you've used Receipt Bank or Dext or seen the impact that product's had on the world, then you'll be very familiar with this person's work. Michael Wood is the founder of Translucent and is building Translucent, which is a finance platform for multi-entity businesses, both accountants and finance folks. In this session, Michael is going deep on AI, not just the hype, but the real shift that's happening. And he's going to break down the difference between AI assistants, AI agents, and how they actually apply to accounting and what you need to know to stay ahead of the curve here in 2025. So without further ado, we're going to kick off our Growth Club. We're going to hear from Michael Wood, our keynote speaker. Michael, over to you. I'm going to let you take the reins. Thank you for opening our keynote session. The Growth Club is now here. Thank you, Michael.
Trent, thank you. Thank you for having me. And hi, everyone. As Trent says, my name's Michael Wood. And what we're going to talk about a little bit today is AI, and hopefully give you all some way of navigating the AI environment in 2025. Because, of course, it's, in some ways it's tempting to say AI is the buzzword, but I think that just so completely underplays what a huge thing AI is. And obviously in our work, our future careers, but also in society, etc. I'm obviously not going to tackle all the different issues and applications and possibilities of what AI brings. But what I'm trying to do is over the sort of the rest of 25, over the basically the next 6 to 12 months, is give you some kind of guide that helps you navigate the environment. So what we're specifically going to talk about with that is some of the language. And so the title of this slide, or the title of this deck, is AI agents versus AI assistants. So anyway, let's get started. As Trent mentioned, my background is back in 2010. I founded Receipt Bank, now known as Dext. So that meant I was quite early to the cloud revolution. I actually first started using cloud accounting in 2007, actually even before Xero launched. So I really was quite an early user of cloud, an early adopter of cloud accounting, and therefore early to the whole cloud accounting revolution. I think some of you might know that the business Dext was sold, and in 2022, I then founded Translucent. And that's what we're doing now. Now, AI. Lots of people have said different things about it. Some people have been very worried about what it does. Some people have been excited about what it does, and others have been, oh, it's hype, it's nothing. If I was doing this in person, I could see you all. I'd actually ask for a show of hands of, where is everyone on this? Microsoft have given this quote calling AI the defining technology of our time. Personally, I agree that's where it's at. I think it's easy actually to underplay how big AI is. So people try and find examples or I can't say the word correctly, so I shouldn't try, but corollaries of it. And they'll say, oh, it's a bit like the mobile revolution, or it's a bit like the birth of the internet. I think it's actually bigger than all of those. There's a noted investor and entrepreneur called Mark Andreessen, who originally founded the first browser, Netscape. And he recently came out and said it's bigger than the internet, it's bigger than mobile. Actually, it's the equivalent of the birth of the microprocessor. Think that's right. I do think AI is a really, really, really big deal. And I know there's some people saying it's hype. I know some people saying it's buzzwords. I know some people saying all these different things. The first thing I would suggest and ask of you, having sort of watched this presentation, would be to take AI seriously. That would be the first thing I would urge you to do. Can I tell you the time scale of the impacts, where it's going to impact, what it's going to do? No, I can't tell you all those things. But I absolutely can say you're going to be on much safer ground for your career, for your business, for your work, to service your clients, to take AI seriously. There's no upside in sort of saying, actually, AI is just hype. I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to leave it. I would really, really urge you to all to take it seriously. So to give you a sense of how seriously Microsoft, Google, Amazon, etc., between them, they're spending $250 billion a year on AI capex. I'll say the number again because it's just so big. $250 billion a year on AI capex is what's currently been spent. We've just never in the business world have we ever seen anything like this. The only thing close would be as if you looked at the sort of the global capex on fiber build out and mobile build out for the internet. But basically, we've just not seen stuff like this before. So Microsoft, AI, defining technology of our time, I really would urge you all to take that statement seriously. Now, why is AI different? Now, to understand why AI is different, it's worth looking back at what we think of as software today. And basically, the software we've been used to today is called it's only called now because we have AI, but it's worth thinking of it as deterministic software. And I know that language feels probably a bit jargonistic, a bit technical. So don't worry, I will go into it and explain. And apologies for it's not the sort of easiest term, but it is, I think, the best. So deterministic software is software that is utterly predictable. If you do X, it will always do Y. So obviously, if you're in Xero or QBO and you press a button to say produce the P&L, it will not only will the button always produce the P&L, but the P&L will always look the same. If you take two cells in Excel and say, 2 and 2, and, say in the next one, sum, it will say 4. And you can do it once, you can do it 10 times, you can do it 100 times, always produce the same output. That is deterministic software. There's no element of variation, there's no element of chance, there's no element of subjectivity. It does exactly what it does, and it does it every time. And so that is what we call deterministic software. And that is the entire software industry as we've known it. It always does the same thing. Now, that's meant two things. It's meant that software has become this really big part of our working lives because it's a super powerful tool, but it's also limited what it can do. And it's also created this really clear line between a human task and a software task, because there's been a whole lot of tasks of if they're replicable and if they're deterministic, then absolutely you let software do it. But if there's a degree of subjectivity or judgment or anything like that, or even sort of variation, then software hasn't been able to do it. And so that's been how the software industry has historically been defined and limited. Now, AI is different because it's what we call probabilistic software. So probabilistic software is really what AI is. And it's software that has the ability. I'm sorry, I'm going to use, it might offend some, I'm going to use some quite human terms, but it has or let's just say human terms, so personification sort of terms. It has the ability to exercise subjectivity. It has the ability to exercise judgment. Now, you might correctly say to me, Michael, it's not doing any of those things, and that's fine. I would completely accept. But the point is, with probabilistic software now has the ability to look at historic patterns, to look at the world, the wider world, use that data set and work out a solution. And in effect, it acts as judgment or subjectivity. So whereas the software world that we're used to is deterministic, we've now got this new wave of solutions that are probabilistic. And what that means is software can suddenly do way, way, way more than before. So a whole lot of tasks that were very much the realm of employees, of team members, of people, suddenly can be done by software. So when we think of what is AI going to do, it's going to do a lot of things, but one thing it's definitely going to do, and the thing that most applies to accounting and bookkeeping, is it massively increases the range of tasks that software can now do. So deterministic software isn't going to go away. It's still a key foundation. It's what tasks that should be deterministic will remain deterministic. But what we'll have is this new layer of software on top that is probabilistic and means that software will take an increased proportion of the tasks that each of us do in a day, wherever we work and whatever we do. And that's probabilistic versus deterministic is a really good framing, because that is where AI is different. So AI is not going to look like old-fashioned sort of software. It's going to look different because AI software is going to be doing different tasks. So let's talk a little bit about types of AI. And again, I'm not talking in 3 years' time or something like that. I'm talking the next sort of 6 to 12 months. Again, the aim of this presentation is to try and give you all a bit of a guide, a bit of a map of how to navigate the months ahead, rather than try and say this is the future or anything like that. So right now, when you look at software and AI, there's basically four different types of AI that are being marketed to you today. There's solutions that now say things like powered by AI or driven by AI. Typically, they're older companies you're probably already familiar with. They're probably, solutions you've seen before, or companies that are 3 or 4 or more years old that have now suddenly added this powered by AI. There's software claiming to be AI agents. There's software claiming to be AI assistants. And then there's within AI agents, there's there's role-based and workflow-based, but we'll talk about those. But let's first talk about powered by AI. Basically, this is a marketing term and you should just disregard it. You can ignore it. If a vendor is coming to you and saying something like, hey, you may have looked at us before, but you should look at us again because we're powered by AI, ignore it. Not interesting. The reason it's not interesting is because it comes back to this point of what a fundamental change that AI is. And a solution that is truly taking advantage of AI and harnessing AI will be doing tasks that software couldn't do 5 years ago. So a great example of this would be note-taking software. I'm sure many of you have heard of these solutions. I'm going to talk about some of the names, I think, later in slides. But if you think of software that automatically transcribes the notes from a Zoom call or a Google Meet or something like that, software 5 years ago could not do that. It now can. Now, if you think those vendors, they don't need to say we're powered by AI. They're fundamentally doing something new, which is what AI is about. It's about, as I said, doing these new tasks that software historically couldn't do. So they don't need to be powered by AI. It's so self-evidently powered by AI because it's doing something new. Whereas if a vendor, an old-fashioned SaaS vendor, is coming to you and saying, we're now powered by AI, it's just marketing bump. Just ignore it. So that's the first type of AI. The next one is what I call AI role-based agents. And I'll give you some examples of these. So these are probably some of the adverts you've seen probably on LinkedIn or elsewhere being advertised to you. And what you've got here is software claiming to represent that it can do a whole person's role today. So here's one: Gary, the world's first AI bookkeeper; Amy, a digital co-worker for accounts payable; Alice, a sales rep, etc., etc. I can go on. There's many of these. And what they're saying is that, hey, with AI, because AI can do new things, I can now replace a whole person's role. So whether it's a bookkeeper, as an example here, or a salesperson here, I can now do this. Now, in my experience, in 2025, AI is not yet capable of doing these tasks. Okay? So AI is super cool. It is getting better. It can do all sorts of things. It cannot today replace a whole role. There is no AI today that is sufficiently powerful that it can say, oh, I no longer need a bookkeeper, and it can do all things a bookkeeper does today. Just can't be done. Doesn't mean it won't be possible in the future, but in 2025, it can't be done. The reason it can't be done is if you think of what a human role is today, and you'll all be incredibly familiar with this, it's quite an odd compendium of different tasks. So if we take the salesperson, not only have they got to, write emails to the person, speak to the person, convey the product, etc., etc. They've got all sorts of different tasks. And AI is not yet capable of doing all those wide set of tasks to a high level. Will be able to in the future, but can't in 2025. So actually, I find in 2025, if AI software is claiming to completely replace a member of staff, just like AI powered, in 2025, you can ignore it. It's not there yet. That's role-based. Other thing to notice about role-based things to make one suspicious is, I think you should all take a moment to realize how good looking they always are. They're always really good looking. Makes me suspicious anyway. Next one. AI assistants. So AI assistants are the thing that have probably had the most hype around AI. And these are from sort of the major companies, obviously Google with Gemini, what was Twitter, now producing Grok, Anthropic produces Claude, and OpenAI, who sort of kickstarted the whole race. And each of these companies now produce assistants, and it's not just these companies, others do as well, that allow you, basically, in some ways, it is most basic to replace a search engine. But they do more than that. You can ask them incredibly complex queries. You can get them to create stuff to you, whether it's images, whether it's slide decks, whether it's do research for you, etc. These AI assistants are really, really powerful. And if my first thing I urge you all to do is take AI seriously, the second thing I would urge everyone to do is please, please, please try and get the AI assistant habit. It's not that easy to do, or many people don't find it easy to do. Some people just take it like a duck to water. But everyone, I would urge at the end of this presentation, please go and whether download the app for ChatGPT, whether get Google Gemini, go and get Grok, go and get Claude, whichever you want. You can get them as mobile apps, you can get them as desktop apps. You can interact them by typing, you can interact with them by speaking. But the point is, they're really impressive. And they're really, really worth getting the habit because what they're going to be able to do is only going to get better and better and better. What I know most entrepreneurs I now know is not only are they getting them for themselves, they're making them default available. They're procuring them basically for every member of their team and coming up with different ways to encourage usage to develop the habit. So everyone just gets used to using an AI assistant. Now, developing the habit, there's various ways of doing it. As I say, you can use it as your sort of new search engine is one way. But there's lots of other things that you can just sort of spend half an hour doing. For those that you have children, I think also a great example is now, you can sort of sit down with them and play around with creative capabilities because their imagination is so amazing with it of, draw me a picture of a frog in a Superman cape flying over the Sydney, and it will do it. It's like, oh no, now make the frog into a squirrel or whatever, just running with their imagination to see what it can do, or write me a story, a bedtime story tonight about, I don't know, a dragon, whatever. There's all sorts of fun ways you can do it. Again, if any of you making a purchase, ask it to do the research for you, so, I'm thinking of installing solar, or I'd like to buy a new bike or whatever it be. But again, I really would urge everyone to try and develop this habit. There is a superpower in these AI assistants, and it's really, really worth you taking them seriously today so that you have the habit today and can take advantage of that going forward. What the AI assistants can do is many, many things. As I said, I just gave a whole lot of examples. I'm not going to give more examples now, but they can do lots and lots of things. You can use them in your work today. You absolutely can. You can, with training, ask it, train it to do a bank rec, or you can train it to do many other bookkeeping and accounting tasks. I actually would say they're not right to do it in 2025 for a couple of reasons. One is they are, remember, this element of probabilistic software. So you might ask it to do a task twice. It might do it in slightly different ways. Now, don't be scared in that. In the same way, if you ask two team members to do a task, they probably wouldn't produce an identical output. If you ask two colleagues to, oh, can you go and prepare this and can you go and prepare the same thing? They will come back definitely with different things. Now, whether it's just actually different outputs in numbers, or actually just the wordage around it, or just the formatting and the design of it. But if you ask two humans to do a probabilistic task, they will come back with a different output. So don't get freaked out that AI will do that because it's the same thing. But the issue with asking an AI assistant to do work tasks in 2025 is it's difficult to audit their thinking and what they've done. Also, you've got a limited ability to edit and undo the work. And so for that reason, what I normally suggest to people doing is absolutely everyone should develop the assistant habit in 25. And I don't just mean yourselves. I mean, you try and get every colleague, every team member, every employee to do it because they are amazing and they're just going to get better. But I would be very wary at using them to do your day jobs. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is AI agent, but workflow based. So previously we talked about role based. So this is when an AI agent claims to be able to replace an entire person or an entire person's role. This is talking about workflow based. So these AI agents in 2025 are not saying I can do a whole person's role, but they're saying I can complete a whole workflow. So, for example, they're not saying, hey, I can replace an entire bookkeeper, but they might be saying, hey, I can do the whole bank rec. So that would be an example there. Now, AI agents that are workflow based have already been a big hit, and not just in 25, started being a big hit, over a year ago. The most common is in note taking. So originally there were generic horizontal note takers like Fireflies, like Fathom, like Granola. But we're now seeing the next evolution in AI agents and note taking, obviously relevant for everyone on this call, is Vinyl, which is saying, no, we can now record all your calls and create the notes and create the actions, but with the context of understanding the client, understanding the work by integrating with Zero, integrating with Carbon, etc. The other kind of AI agents that are very well known are ones for writing. These are the ones that draft emails for you, draft sort of help you write documents and things like that. Some examples there, Jasper, Writer, etc. And then the ones that have got most excitement in the last few months have been things like Lovable, Bolt, Cursor, and these are the ones that begin to replace codings, the ability to build your own apps, the ability to build your own websites, build your own tools, etc. So you've got these AI agents that are workflow based. And um, these are the ones that have sort of had a lot of popularity in the last year or so. So what is an AI agent when it's workflow based? It's limited to a specific workflow. So whereas if we think about the assistants, the ChatGPTs, etc., they can literally do not literally do anything, but they can do many, many things, and they're absolutely generalists. Whereas the AI agents are absolutely specialists. So if you take a note-taking app, like say Vinyl, and say, "Oh, can you build me a website?" Well, it just can't do it. It has no capacity to do it. Both it is AI powered, but the AI has been deployed in a very specialist, specific way. So it's limited to a specific workflow. But because it's got that specialism, it doesn't need any training. I said before you could get an AI assistant like ChatGPT to do a bank rec in Zero. You absolutely can, but you need to do a whole lot of training for it. Whereas a bank rec agent for Zero QBO doesn't need training. It knows what to do straight away because it is domain specific. Because it's built for work and it knows the importance of what it's doing, it will come with an audit trail to let you see how did it come to that output. And again, it will give you the ability to edit and undo work because it knows the importance of the task. So to give you an example of what I mean, so what we do at Translucent is we build a large number of apps. Historically, they've always been focused on multi-entity situations. So think sort of consolidation, intercompany, etc. So if I was to give the example, the difference between an app and an agent for our intercompany app. So our intercompany app, you would map the intercompany loan accounts. We would then produce the matrix because we're deterministic software. So we've looked up all the relevant transactions and we've been able to produce the matrix for you and you review it. Some of these transactions are easy to reconcile. So we reconcile some, we leave to you. You can reconcile the rest. And then you can create and post the balancing journals back to Zero and QBO. So I'm just going to move things like to the other side. And then voila, the intercompany loan accounts are balanced. So that's an old-fashioned deterministic SaaS app doing it. Now, when it's an agent, it's different. So mapping the intercompany accounts, actually, we already do a lot of that automatically, and it's getting better and better, but there might still be some. But then you're done. Because an agent can take advantage of probabilistic AI, it is able to do the work you as a human historically would have done. So again, if we compare the 6 stages of a SaaS app, the 2 stages of an agent. So that's an example of an AI workflow specific agent. Much more efficient, much higher productivity, much quicker. Sorry, I should have third said there. It then notifies you of the work complete, and you can review the work and you can edit the work as we talked about. But crucially, it is done. It's step 2. It just gives you that ability and control that, of course, you would want. In the same way as if you'd ask a staff member to want it, you'd want notification when the work is completed, and you'd want the ability to review the work and, if necessary, edit the work. And again, when thinking about AI agents, it's often worth thinking about having an employee do it. What processes would you want? How would you want to be communicated with? What oversight would you want? That is a better framework to think about managing agents than the old buying software framework. So, advice for 2025. I've drummed it pretty hard already, but just please do get the AI assistant habit. It is really worth doing. It can be fun. And it will definitely see you all in good stead just to begin to get a sense of what this technology can do. And then start shopping for AI agents. The workflow agents, I think, rather than employee agents. There's not that many out today that are accounting and bookkeeping. And in many ways, I'd say to people, probably wait to Q4. I wouldn't rush to buy the ones that are available today, but I would certainly begin to prepare you and your team to think about what tasks you'd like to now use agents for. Any of you that have outsourced work, whether to the Philippines, India, whatever, those workflows are obviously super ready to be moved to AI agents because you've already done the hard work of splitting them out from your existing team and determining the type and frequency of oversight you want. But yeah, what's going to happen through the rest of this year is more and more agents are going to be released. They're going to be better and better. As I say, I wouldn't rush to buy the first ones that are out there. But what I would do is prepare yourself, your team, your company to be looking at how you can deploy these because they are going to be a tremendous productivity boost and they are going to change our industry totally. And that's it. Thank you very much for your patience and I hope that is useful. I am on LinkedIn. So we haven't got sort of live Q&A or anything today, but if anyone wants to ping me, feel free to, and I'll try and do anything I can to help you, help your business, answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. That was fantastic. I think you did an amazing job breaking down how AI agents compare to AI bots. So much learning there. Amazing. Thank you so much for your time and being our opening keynote today. For everyone else, stay tuned. We're about to kick into our next lot of sessions. We have 2 streams coming up right now that you can check out live. Remember, as I said, you can jump straight into the summit page. So it's growthclub.thefirm.media. And our very next 2 sessions coming up are the AI Ready website, so 5 fixes to boost visibility, speed, and leads. This is with Scott McNaught from Encord. So if you're interested in how to improve your website and how you can use different AI tools and all the things you should be aware of in an AI world for your website, check out that with Scott McNaught. And our second and one of our other great speakers is Mark Wickersham, and he's talking about how to value, price, bookkeeping, and annual accounts with confidence. Mark Wickersham has been teaching value pricing for over a decade, and he is one of the best in this space, probably the best. So they're the next 2 sessions that are coming up. If you're unsure which one you want to attend live, that's fine. You can just jump onto the summit page, as I said. All sessions are recorded, so you can catch up on either one later. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this first keynote, and we're looking forward to get stuck in. Thank you again, Michael, and I'll see you in the next session, which starts at 10 a.m. I'll see you then.